Hello, Don Maxwell from Live IT. Um, Today's session, we're going to be looking at filtering. Um, there are times when we have a large amount of data in our spreadsheet, and we simply need to show a small report of a subset of the data. Or we simply want to maybe look at customer information, maybe customers from a certain zip code, maybe a certain product. And today we're going to be looking at our regional sales report. Maybe we want to look at the sales rep from Florida or California. One of the things that happens is when we do filter, the Excel turns into like a WYSIWYG editor. It only shows the data that meets the criteria. Right? So, and that means we can keep that report visually that way. Does not mean the data is lost or gone. The data is still in the spreadsheet, but we're only showing what we need to show. So we call it a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get, because what you see can also be printed on the printer, regardless of the mass amount of data in the spreadsheet. If you only filter it down to 2 records, you can print that as a report. So we're going to be looking at that today. Well, to begin with, this is a table, of course, and when you look at the labels or columns, you will see to your right the filters, right? Remember, once you create a table, you can put the filters on and off. Remember, you click on the table and you can go to the design, the design tab appears, right? And we can turn the filter button on and off. That's one way, right? Once you have a table, we can do that. Another way to look at filters, if we go to data, you can see the filter, the main filter under sort, data, sort and filter, right? You can turn that off as well. Well, today, how we filter is you go to the arrow, the menu arrow for the filter. These are your filter arrows menu, and if we're going to be filtering on in a specific field, a particular field or specific field, you go to that field itself, right? So let's say we're filtering on state, right? You're probably familiar with this report. It's simply a regional sales report for the quarter, January, February, March, and we have a couple of sales reps, and we have some states that they're from, and they're doing sales, right? And they're getting commission based on the total sales less the refund. That's what the report is all about. All right, so we simply want to just show the sales rep in, let's say, California and New York. So let's go to the state and click on that down arrow. When you click on that down arrow, just like we did sort, right? We're familiar with sort, we've done sort before. You'll see that there are some text filter, some criteria like equals, does not equal to begin with, ends with, and so on, right? So there are some text filter that can be used as well, or we can clear filter from the state if we had put filters on there. Obviously, there's no filter on there yet. The up arrow indicates that there, of course, was a sort done. All right, so what we can do is click on the arrow in the select all box. What that does is deselect all the fields or deselect the states. All right. If I click on it, it will select the states. If I click off it, deselect the state. Now, why am I deselecting the state? Well, I'm deselecting because I want to pick a specific state. So I'm going to pick California and New York. I'm going to leave out Florida and Pennsylvania. Right? So when I click OK, the data that is visible to me is California and New York, right? That's called a filter. Now, this is powerful in Excel because the other data is still in the spreadsheet, but it's not visible to us. And therefore, even when we go to print this data, let's say we go to File, Print, and let's turn this into landscape. Let's turn the sheet into landscape so that you can see that all the data is on the sheet here. Now, notice what you see here, right? California and New York, right? The other data is still in the main spreadsheet, but this is what we call a filter, right? Because we're simply looking at California and New York, and this is why we say this is a WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. Now, you can go ahead and do all the other things for your report if you're going to be printing this report, right? But we're just showing you that just simply filtering and printing the data is a very powerful tool in Excel, because we're simply taking out a subset of a larger amount of data and we're creating a small report or a subset report, right? So let's go back. All right, so to understand what's happening here, you know that we use the filter. Notice the filter arrow, the icon here. It has a filter icon on there. So now we know we sorted it, and we know that by the arrow ascending, and we also know that we filter it by the filter icon, right? Notice the menu or the arrow is not on the state anymore. Now, it is also true, just like a sort, you can filter on more than one field. What if we wanted to filter further on the total sales less refund? Let's say we want to filter all the data within California and New York that is greater than 80,000, right? What can we do? We can still go to the filter arrow or menu. I call it menu. And we can say filter numbers, right? So we want to look for numbers greater than, right? Greater than, numbers greater than. So I'm going to click on numbers greater than, and we get this dialog box here, custom auto filter, right? So what is it showing me? Show totals less than refund is greater than, totals that's greater than. We said we want to see anything greater than 80,000, right? Or you can have an or, right? And means both have to be correct, or means one or the other has to be correct, right? And then we go, okay. And there you go. Now we have one record of California and one record in New York that has over 80 grand. Look at that. Right? So notice the icon as well. So here we have a filter. You can see the filter icon. And on the total sales less refund, we have another filter. What is that telling us? It's telling us that we are filtered on both, on both the state and the total sales less refund, right? On those two fields, we're filtered. All right, so you can see that there, again, we have the filter tool, but once you have a table and you have the table design, there's the filter button, right? And you also know that you can go to data, sort and filter, filter, right? And of course, what happens when we want to clear all filter? Well, there is a clear all filter button here. We can reapply. And there's some advanced, right? So if we clear all filter, we can see all the data in the spreadsheet again, right? See that? We just clear all the filters, right? So these filter tools are very important. We can do custom filter. We don't have to copy and paste the data. We simply filter the data and print our report. Great job, guys. Here again, you're continuing to improve your efforts in Excel, and this is just one more tool in your arsenal. Good job. I'll see you in the next module.